sitting here on the Exodus tour bus with Tom Hunting. Cheers for this, mate.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for waiting for me.
No worries.
I had to catch some sleep.
Hard night in Russia last night, was it?
Not so bad. Just a long day of travel. We started at like 5 this morning and left Mother Russia to the fatherland. And yeah, it's good to be back in Europe. But Russia was amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say, how were the Russian shows like?
Super, just the attendance doubled from the last time we were there, and they were just extremely passionate about the music, and it was pretty insane. We had a great time there.
That's cool, man. We want to talk about the new album.
All right.
Blood In, Blood Out. So this came out last year. How's the recording of it? Was it very different to other albums you've done?
Well, yeah, we changed singers in the middle of the record, so that's...
Oh, was it in the middle of the record? Yeah.
Yeah, we were 95% done with vocals with Rob, and then Zed came in and sang on a few tracks. We just originally wanted to see how it sounded, and we're like, that sounds like a voice that should be on this record. The recording process pretty much went the same, you know. We jam everything out before we even hit the studio, and it's a very organic process, you know. It's guitars and drums jamming in a room. Gary comes up with a riff, or Lee, and feed it to me, and then I put some drum beats to it. It's nothing really crazy that we do to write music. You know? Just jamming and then arranging and then we do the drums. We do the drums in a proper studio, like with room mics and, you know, a big ass board, and then we tear everything down and put it on, go to Pro Tools, and then take it to some remote location somewhere. It's kind of like camping, you know. It's kind of like camping and working at the same time, because everybody will work in shifts, you know. Like if Gary's doing rhythms and he gets tired, Lee will come in and put down a lead or whatever. It's like it's a fun process. I like the recording process.
And do you stick around after you've done, because you're obviously finished first? Do you?
Yeah, well, we recorded. We did all the tracking at my house except for the drums.
Oh, sweet.
And I live on a ranch in the East Bay area, and it's pretty easy, seamless process. And then the guys just come in when they're ready to work, and we just kind of get it done that way. And you have a time schedule, like it's got to be done by then, or you just make it? We don't really put a deadline. Your own time. You know, we put, you know, a timeline we'd like to get done at, but I mean, we've been at this a while now, so the process goes pretty quick. Yeah, and we don't put anything to tape till we're totally prepared. So that's cool. And you had, for the first time, 10th album, Kirk Hammett finally recording. Yeah, that was cool. On Salt in the Wound. Yep. Awesome song. Were you there when Kirk came in and we did that? Solo? We did that at my house also, and it was seamless. 'Cause, I mean, it's weird because I live in an area. When me and Kirk were kids, we'd go to this area and drink and party and shit, and it's kind of off in the woods in Briones, California, and there's like some reservoirs up there. So he knew exactly, like when I told him where my house was, he knew exactly where to go because it's very near his mother's house. All right. So he just drove out in his Tesla and like pulled up and you know, came in, did his solo. It was pretty seamless, and then we barbecued chicken and drank beer. So. Nice. I heard a interview with him talking about bonding in blood with you and Gary Holt and Paul Bailoff. Yeah. Like he's got a scar on his hand here from like 1981 or 82. I have one somewhere. So yeah, I was going to ask you that one. I have one, but some of the guys went crazy. Like Aaron Gellum from Laws Rocket, the guitar player, like cut his arm. He's got a big scar. And Bailoff had a big scar somewhere. I think Dave Mustaine got bonded too. Oh yeah? That's what I thought. Like, why would Kirk put it on his hand? He's a guitarist. Like, I don't know. Cut my hand up. But probably drunk. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Controlled by metal. Yeah. Can't do that shit nowadays. Too many blood-borne diseases out there. And people just think you're emo, and it's got nothing to do with that at all. Yeah. But yeah, talking about Paul Bailoff, how did you first meet him, or how did he come in? Kirk actually met him somewhere, and he came back to us because, you know, I had been doing most of the singing, and I was like singing and playing drums, and we always wanted a front man, and we brought various people in through the fold, and none of them could really sing that good. And then he met Paul, and he introduced us to Paul, and I met Paul at a Harry Carey show in Berkeley, California, and you know, we instantly liked each other. And, you know, he was super fun to be around, and his passion for this music was like, he loved metal more than any of us ever could, than anybody I've ever met probably. So.
And killing posers.
Killing posers, yes. Ripping their shirts off. And
yeah, brilliant. And he was in the band when he passed in 2002. He was in the band then, was he?
Yeah, and you know, we were making plans. I mean, that was a rough time for us because like we weren't really a good functioning band at that time. You know, we all had some drug problems going on, or most of us anyway, and myself included. And you know, Paul had he had 2 strokes, and we knew something was going on with Paul, but we never realized that he'd had a stroke until he had like the big stroke that killed him. And we got an education about strokes right then. But even his dying didn't like you know, break our will to do drugs. You know, it took a while. Gary did it first, and you know, he got sober first, and I soon followed. And you know, the rest is history. We haven't touched this shit ever since then. So.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
And were you guys like writing? I guess you weren't writing at the time for Tempo of the Damned because that came
we
out
were
like...
kind of writing. Like I think "War Is My Sheppard" was a song that might have been done at that point.
And was that with Paul as well? Like...
No, we never got anything down with Paul on that one.
Yeah.
We weren't, you know. I mean, there's a pretty cliche saying, you know, get to a point if you're a musician dabbling in drugs, you become a drug addict that's dabbling in music. You know? And that's kind of where we were. And you know, we thought we were doing stuff, and we weren't really progressing. We were just kind of spinning wheels, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's good you got out of that, because after that there was just album every few years, and it's been like 5 albums since then, I think. Or...
Yeah.
And do you guys have any plans to tour the Southern Hemisphere, like New Zealand mainly, I wanted to ask about?
Well, we just did Soundwave Festival.
Oh, so you've already been down to Australia?
We've been to Australia. We didn't get to New Zealand on that trip, and you know, we want to do a proper Asian tour. Go back to, you know, places like Taipei, and we've done Japan twice, and only once since the record's been out. So you know, we got a pretty big cycle in the works for this one. So.
Cool, man. And you guys have influenced loads of bands, like thrash metal bands, but then a lot of 90s death metal bands were influenced by you guys. Do any of these bands that you hear coming out, are you into any of those bands that have cited you as influences? Because I know a lot of thrash metalers, or just people in general, just hate the death metal vocals, and they're not really into those bands, but a lot of thrash metal bands influenced all that. It's just like the next step. And
yeah, well, I mean, I never used to like that kind of vocals either, and then I tried to like sing like that one day, and it's fucking hard work, dude. That's definitely an art form within itself.
Yeah,
and
I agree. Like, people always go, "What? That anyone can do that?" It's like, well, do it. And
you know, I think, yeah, I think you know, Rob from Machine Head kind of struck a balance between, you know, vocally type vocals, and you know, he can get death metal like when he wants to get there. You know what I mean? And it's a good balance.
Yeah, instead of just all the time.
You know, I try to like separate, even if I don't like the vocals, I try to separate what the musicians are doing. Because I mean, in our band, I'm more part of the musical end of things anyway. I'm the driver, so to speak, and I don't, you know, I like all forms of music.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm home, I already even listen to metal. I listen to like fucking Creedence Clearwater or Journey or ZZ Top or something that's not really metal. Even hillbilly music, like, you know, Alice and Krauss and Union Station, whatever.
And you like, I saw an interview from you a few years ago, and you were talking about doing something like some funk soul kind of stuff with some guys.
Yeah.
With some guys in Oakland. Like, did that ever happen? Cause
no, I would love to be the token white guy in a funk band in Oakland. I think that would be awesome. I mean, I grew up playing that kind of music, and like when I first started learning how to play drums, and when I was in my room, I'd be playing to Ohio Players and Commodores and Earth, Wind and Fire, and Kool and the Gang, and all that shit. I love it. It's
and you
music.
Put some of the fills and stuff into Exodus.
Totally.
Yeah.
Just sped up.
Yeah. That's super cool. And what do you guys got planned, like coming up for the next few months? Is it just
next few months? We're gonna finish off this tour. Still got quite a few dates on this one, and then we're doing motorboat. There'll be some South America stuff in the future. I think we just postponed a tour that we were gonna do there, and but we're gonna, you know, pick up those dates and go back down there. We haven't been to South America for this record yet, officially. It came out while we were down there, but we didn't really tour for this album.
So you still got more dates coming on at the end of the tour, and
we're working it out right now.
Yeah. So there's no end in sight for the tour. Just
no. Probably going to be a long cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. There's worse problems you can have
than going on tour.
Yeah. Totally.
Supplying your album, of course.
Album number 10. I mean, it's pretty important. I mean, how many people get to say they're even in a band that makes 10 records? You know?
Or in a band for 35 years.
Yep.
Or that started 35 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations on the album. It sounds amazing.
Thank you, bro.
And good luck with the rest of the tour. Thanks a lot, man.
No problem.
Cheers.